Chapter 6, Section 9, Interest Groups. An interest group, also referred to as a special interest group, is an association of individuals or organizations that is organized on the basis of one or more shared concerns or issues, and that attempt to influence public policy in its favor. There are a variety of interest groups, all with political priorities and opinions about what the government should do. Because they are usually not officially affiliated with any political party, they generally have no trouble working with either of the two major parties. In some cases, though, interest groups do have ideological or political priorities that cause them to heavily favor one party or the other. Interest groups use four major strategies to do their work: lobbying, electioneering, litigating, and influence public opinion. To make any of these strategies work, interest groups first need to raise a sufficient amount of money. They do this in part by convincing people to become members of their group and contribute to their cause. The most powerful way that a well-funded interest group can affect public policy and the government is through lobbying. Lobbyists meet with members of Congress and their staff members, provide evidence at hearings, petition for issues, participate in campaign fundraising, and even draft memos and potential legislation. Interest groups are known for hiring recently retired members of Congress and the executive branch, as well as other political insiders, as lobbyists. These lobbyists can use their inside experience to outmaneuver other groups. Suggestions of impropriety cause Congress to mandate a waiting period before former members can conduct private consulting. Because some major lobbies have vast resources, their influence over campaigns and parties remain controversial. Current examples include Republican connections to energy company interest groups and Democratic connections to labor union interest groups. Interest groups also engage in electioneering because they have a vested interest in getting the right people into office and making sure they remain there. Thus, interest groups are very active in political campaigns. If an interest group is unable to get a desired result from Congress or a federal agency, it may resort to litigating or turning to the judicial system to reach its goal. Interest groups often issue ratings and analysis of judicial nominees, file legal briefs, and undertake lawsuits. Perhaps the most famous example of this occurred when the NAACP was able to get the Supreme Court to rule that segregation of America's public schools was unconstitutional. Lastly, interest groups attempt to shape public opinion in a variety of ways, such as by publishing research study findings, using the media, and putting on public events like marches. Some interest groups have more broadly defined goals than others. For example, AARP, formerly the American Association of Retired Persons, has nearly 40 million members and advocates on behalf of individuals aged 50 and over on a wide range of issues, including insurance access, healthcare, employment, and consumer and financial protection. AARP represents people across the political spectrum. Other interest groups are called single-issue groups. A single-issue group, as the name suggests, is an interest group that focuses on a single issue, such as the environment, gun rights, or foreign policy. Many of these groups, such as the National Rifle Association, NRA, are very well known and capable of launching high-profile media campaigns to mobilize their members. The close relationship that interest groups develop with Congress and the executive branch is referred to as the Iron Triangle. Agencies and departments within the executive branch, for example the federal bureaucracy, keep close contact with interest group lobbyists who want to influence the government. Interest groups may provide research and statistics to the executive departments. Both lobbyists and bureaucrats value contact with congressional committees and subcommittees that shape the laws regarding their interests. Members of Congress want interest group money and do not want to alienate such powerful interest group support. Bureaucrats may want jobs as lobbyists or funding for various projects. Working together, these three groups have a significant impact on many government policies. Interest groups give some citizens the opportunity to become more civically engaged. However, not all citizens have the financial resources or ability to participate equally. Socioeconomic status is the top predictor of who will likely join groups. Many people are concerned that the prominence and influence of the interest group system gives disproportionate political weight to the views and interests of the wealthiest citizens. Proponents of interest groups say that the proliferation of interest group activity reflects a positive aspect of the American system of government. American citizens have the lawful right to assemble and to directly petition the government. Such participation is an important aspect of a thriving democratic society. Others reject this positive view of interest groups. People don't necessarily have to join interest groups in order to benefit from the work interest groups do. Thus, a common problem that some interest groups face is called the free rider problem, which refers to the difficulty an interest group has in acquiring members, even though the community at large freely reaps the benefits obtained by that interest group. For example, an interest group dedicated to improving environmental quality standards will, if successful, improve the environment for everyone, even those who are not members of the interest group. Some people therefore feel as if they lack an incentive to join an interest group and pay dues because they will receive the benefits anyway. Consequently, some groups decide to close membership and to provide private benefits only to group members. These groups tend to attract wealthier citizens, giving them a financial advantage and thus more political power.